Today I have the pleasure of using Chapter 3 from New Directions in Special Education, and the third chapter of the book talks about inclusive settings. I am truly an advocate of inclusive settings because as a special education teacher for the last 18 years, I've always said, keep my children in the classroom because when they become adults, they will have to be parts of communities. So why are we pushing them out instead of pulling them in and doing what we need to make sure that they are learning? At this time, I would like to show you, before we go into the lesson, a poster that we use, which surprisingly is a UDL adaptation. A reading, I do, you do, we do chart. First thing I would have the children to observe. Teacher will ask students to complete a UDL chart on what they know about tall tales. Teacher will explain. The next step would be a foldable completion of the chapter, character, John Henry, as a whole group, using the Freya model. Last but not least, I'm going to tell the students, you do, in small groups, they're going to summarize the story and complete a Freya model. Here is my inclusive UD model. The key concept is inferring the theme through tall tales and legends. The hook for all students inclusively will be, what is a fable or myth? My objective is to have students to sequence the main events in a fable or myth, using the story and summary frames. Now, key points. These are the things that are essential in a UDL adaptive lesson in an inclusive model. I'm going to use an anchor chart. You've already seen my posted I do, you do, we do. You must also have pre-taught vocabulary, text-to-speech, which will be used for students who can't read the story. As a reteachable, they'll go to the computer to hear the story on tape and follow along as the words are highlighted. I'm going to also use the smartboard in introducing the narrative on the life of John Henry. Multiple means of engagement. There again, in the UDL model, there must be flexible working groups, not on functioning level, but on ability levels, where they're matched up high children, medium performing children, and low functioning level students. They're going to also be computers for students, there again, to go and read the story, text to speech. Multiple means of expression. They will have interactive notebooks. They will have a foldable completion of characters. Students are going to be able to answer questions on who was John Henry and why was John Henry a tall tale. During the lesson, I'm going to also ask my students about the character, John Henry. I'm going to ask them, what was the story about? What was so important about his life? Was this a true story? What made John Henry unique? Also, key features, I want the students to be able to retell and to be able, next time when they see a tall tale, to tell me, this is a tall tale. Now, I want to show you examples of the organizers, graphic organizers, that will be used. In the beginning, under I do, I'd already mentioned we're going to do a KWL chart. Under the KWL, what they know about tall tales, what they would like to know about tall tales, and what they have learned about tall tales. Graphic organizers under the UDL concept is a necessity. Also, we're going to do in small groups after I introduce the Freya model. Each group is going to give me a definition of a tall tale. They're going to give me an example of a tall tale, a non-example of a tall tale, and last but not least, they're going to draw me examples of the elements of a tall tale as prorated, as shown, as illustrated through John Henry. Here again, in an inclusive model of UDL, if you haven't noticed, we use these things daily already in our classes. We must adapt our lessons to be inclusive of the needs of each and every child in our setting. Not always necessarily even a special need child. There's students in the regular classroom who need the UDL adaptations as well as special ed children. Thank you.